Listen closely. The truth can no longer be hidden or silenced. Everything that was once plotted against you in the shadows is now being dragged into the stark, unforgiving light of a hospital room. The universe has made its move, a definitive, irreversible declaration. The very person who schemed so relentlessly to sabotage your life, who wove intricate webs of deception and malice, now lies powerless in a hospital bed, their body collapsing as swiftly as the lies they once spun. This is no mere coincidence. This is divine intervention unfolding with perfect timing, an intricate dance of cosmic consequence. That sterile hospital bed has become their place of reckoning, a silent courtroom where every deceit is laid bare. Every drip from the IV serves as a cosmic countdown, marking the relentless march of justice. The mouth that once spoke only deception, weaving narratives to trap and diminish you, now confesses everything, unable to withhold the truth any longer. Every secret, every co-conspirator, every calculated attempt to sabotage your destiny is pouring out. Make no mistake, there is nowhere left to run or hide from this level of karma. The verdict has been delivered by the universe itself, and the sentence is unfolding with absolute, unyielding precision. Those who dared to tamper with your journey are now staring down consequences they never thought possible. And it all begins with this hospital bed confession that will shatter their entire web of deceit. This was always the fate awaiting anyone who rose against you. As the confessions continue, panic erupts among their network. Phones buzz with desperate, frantic messages. Secret meetings are scrambled together in a futile effort to do damage control, to somehow stem the tide of truth. But the unraveling is already in motion. The truths spilling out from that hospital bed are dismantling even the most carefully crafted alibis, exposing the shaky foundation upon which their lies were built. Their so-called fortress of deception is collapsing floor by floor, trapping them beneath its ruins. Once they believed their alliance was ironclad, their pact unbreakable. Now, you're about to witness their complete undoing. Former accomplices turn on each other, scrambling like insects exposed to daylight. Some try to run, stuffing bags and fleeing, hoping that distance will protect them. Others frantically destroy evidence, not realizing that the cosmic ledger needs no physical proof, that every action has already been recorded. The shrewder ones are already reaching out to lawyers, desperately offering testimony against their former partners in the hope of lighter sentences. The weakest crumble entirely, paralyzed by the realization that justice is closing in, inescapable and absolute. There is no hiding from what's coming. No amount of distance can outpace the divine wheels set in motion. Law enforcement moves in, their timing almost uncanny, as if guided by a higher intelligence. Surveillance has caught every frantic move, every deleted text, every desperate attempt to cover their tracks. Warrants are issued, and now human justice aligns perfectly with cosmic consequence. That hospital room confession provides every missing piece: names, dates, accounts, locations, ensuring that no one escapes accountability. Nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. Karma is thorough and patient. It catches up with everyone. Even in those final moments, the one in the hospital bed tries to maneuver, calling in favors, moving funds, spinning last-minute stories to protect their reputation. But now, none of it matters. As death approaches, their legacy becomes a lesson, a cautionary tale about the real price of standing against divine will. Their name will live on, but only as a warning whispered by those who remember what happened. Through all this, you remain untouched, divinely shielded, while chaos unfolds all around you. Your protection was never in doubt. The forces that guard your path exist on levels far beyond the physical. Every attack against you bounced back with multiplied force, becoming the architect of their own destruction. Their frustration at never reaching you only accelerated their fall. Every attempt only dug their graves deeper and sealed their fate tighter. Some still haven't learned, making reckless final attempts to reach you. But these last-ditch efforts only reveal how disconnected they are from reality, how truly blind to the spiritual forces at play. Using disguises, fake identities, trying to come at you through supposed mutual friends, what they don't realize is that every move is tracked, every step monitored, as if they are walking freely in a cage that's quietly closing around them. Authorities let them play out their roles, providing just enough rope for full self-incrimination. The truly delusional among them still believe there's an escape, but there never was. Your destiny is written in a ledger that exists far beyond human understanding, encoded with protection they could never penetrate. The shield around you is not just spiritual, it is cosmic and absolute. If you pause and feel it, you can sense this invisible barrier keeping chaos away from your life. Meanwhile, the confessions continue, stretching on for hours as strength fades from the body in that hospital bed. Nurses witness a strange phenomenon they cannot explain, how someone so close to death keeps speaking with such urgency. The doctors call it terminal lucidity. But those who are spiritually aware see it for what it is, a desperate soul trying to unburden itself before crossing over. Every detail is exposed, every manipulation, every lie, every plan to harm you. Truth coming in waves, ending only when the monitors go silent. The conspirators never truly understood who you are. They saw only your outward self, never the depth of your connection to higher realms. They plotted against what they could see, blind to the invisible forces protecting you. They built their plans on human logic and resources, never realizing you operate on a frequency far beyond their reach. When they set their intention against you, what is unfolding in that hospital bed is merely the visible tip of an accounting that began the very instant they chose darkness over light. By aiming their attacks at someone carrying a divine purpose, they unknowingly committed a form of spiritual self-destruction, never grasping that such actions are fatal to their own souls. The universe, patient and precise, simply allowed time for the consequences to become real in the physical world. Spiritual law has always been undefeated, unyielding through all ages. Now their confessions, once only feared in secret, are reaching the authorities. Officials who had long suspected what is finally being confirmed. Months of slowly built evidence, financial records revealing strange activity, intercepted communications, and witnesses who found courage as cracks split open the conspiracy, now find their final confirmation in the hospital room. What was once suspicion becomes actionable intelligence. The case tightens, leaving no room for dismissal or escape. Raids are planned, arrests are imminent, and new charges are being built. As though still plotting, they make critical errors born from escalating panic. In their arrogance, they believe themselves clever, shifting to encrypted language and meeting in supposed safe havens, never suspecting their every whispered word is being recorded. They even scheme to silence the hospital confessor, not realizing that each plot only further secures their downfall. Every desperate conversation, another nail in their own legal coffin. Their blindness to the spiritual weight of their actions kept them from ever realizing the magnitude of their mistake. Choosing you as a target, they saw only opportunity when they should have seen flashing warnings. What they perceived as your vulnerability was actually a fortress of absolute protection. They focused on your apparent isolation, but were blind to your overwhelming cosmic backing, misreading your supposed limitations while missing the deeper reality of your divine connection. Their calculations were always flawed, missing the critical factor. They could never understand or penetrate your true purpose, no matter how hard they tried. The confession from that hospital bed exposes their confusion, the repeated failures of their attacks, the doors that slammed shut without warning, the allies who disappeared mysteriously, and even the unexplained symptoms in their own bodies after trying to harm you. Patterns started to emerge, but always too late for them to change course. The universe had been sending signals all along. Minor health issues after each attempt. Financial losses that mirrored their attacks on your resources. Friendships and relationships breaking apart when they tried to isolate you. Strange and prophetic dreams they shrugged off. Gut feelings they ignored. Every time they rationalized away these signs, they sealed their fate a little tighter. As the confession pours out, the hospital room becomes charged with a presence most cannot perceive. Spiritual witnesses, unseen but undeniably present, gather to bear witness. Machines in the room behave oddly. The temperature shifts unexpectedly. Sensitive souls in the room sense the thinning veil, the press of cosmic forces ensuring that this testimony will be completed no matter the physical state of the confessor. Some truths are so powerful, they insist on being spoken, even when the body is breaking down. The dying person becomes aware of these presences. Ancestral spirits, karmic accountants, spiritual guardians, and the urgency in their voice intensifies as they recognize the true nature of their audience. This confession isn't just for the people in the room. It addresses a higher court. Answering directly to cosmic law. Nothing can be hidden here. No detail escapes. Names, dates, bank accounts, stolen identities, forged documents, whispered intentions. Everything is revealed with nothing left censored or disguised. Cosmic justice demands full transparency. Partial truth will not clear a spiritual debt of this scale. The effects ripple out far beyond the hospital walls. Phones ring in distant homes. Doors are knocked on as investigators arrive. Computers are seized, accounts are frozen, and passports are red flagged. The infrastructure that propped up their conspiracy falls apart at astonishing speed, as if invisible hands are rushing the collapse. Those who thought themselves minor players in all this are stunned to discover that cosmic justice does not recognize any hierarchy of guilt. Their shock reveals just how disconnected they always were from spiritual reality. Believing that true accountability was just a human invention, something that could be evaded. Now they understand too late accountability is universal and none are exempt. They genuinely believe that with enough resources, influence, and connections, they could navigate their way out of any situation, manipulating outcomes to suit their interests. What they failed to grasp, however, was that accountability is not simply a product of human systems or legal constructs. It is a universal constant woven into the very fabric of existence. Their spiritual ignorance offered no protection. Their disbelief in higher consequences did nothing to diminish the reality of those consequences. No matter how stubbornly they rejected spiritual truth, the authority of cosmic law over physical experience remained absolute and undeterred, and so the reckoning arrived precisely on schedule, with a timing so exact it was impossible to call it coincidence. Some conspirators, sensing the inevitability of their downfall, desperately tried to negotiate, offering information or testimony in exchange for a lighter sentence. Others clung to claims of ignorance, pretending they knew nothing of the full scheme, hoping to deflect blame onto supposed ringleaders. A few tried to maintain a facade of innocence, even as the mountain of evidence grew impossible to ignore. The most delusional among them still believed that influence, money, or legal maneuvering would provide a way out of the storm that was now upon them. Unable to comprehend the true nature of the force they faced, what they never understood is that the consequences manifesting in their lives were only the shadow of a much deeper spiritual accounting already unfolding. Human punishment is but a faint echo of the spiritual consequences at play. Now physical symptoms appeared among the conspiracy's members with eerie consistency. Sleep eluded them no matter what medications they took. Their appetites vanished, and energy was drained without any medical explanation. Chronic illnesses once manageable began to worsen suddenly, and new diagnoses arrived with terrifying speed. Their bodies, once strong and resilient, now mirrored the spiritual decay they had carried within, manifesting outward signs of the inner corruption they tried so hard to hide. Doctors could offer only temporary relief, unable to address the true source of the affliction for the hospital confessor. This connection became tragically clear before anyone else. Their terminal diagnosis had followed immediately after a particularly vicious attempt to harm you. The timing unmistakably precise, a message they could not ignore. Even the nature of their illness symbolically matched their offenses. And as they continued to refuse the path of truth and accountability, their condition deteriorated ever more rapidly. Their body itself became a living testimony to the spiritual disease that had taken root, forcing them to confront the reality of what they had become through their choices. Truth, the universe insists, will always find a way. First arriving as a whisper, a gentle nudge in a dream, an intuitive feeling, a subtle synchronicity. When these gentle messengers are ignored, the volume increases. A strange coincidence here, a relationship that suddenly fractures there, a sudden financial reversal following an act of betrayal. If even these signs are dismissed, the universe has no choice but to communicate through pain. Major health crises, catastrophic losses, the complete collapse of what they once thought unbreakable. The hospital confessor reached this final stage, their body literally dissolving as spiritual debt consumed physical form. Organs failed in systematic succession. Treatments proved ineffective, and symptoms accelerated beyond anything the medical professionals had seen before. Doctors were baffled by the body's resistance to intervention, the abnormal results that defied scientific explanation. While they searched for a physical cause, you watched from a distance, completely insulated from the chaos. The shield around you, always present, never faltered. Not once, not even during the most coordinated or intense assaults. Even as they gathered in numbers or unleashed their most powerful methods, your protection held strong. You may have felt the effects, strange energy fluctuations, moments of fatigue, or emotional turbulence, but these were never breaches in your shield. Rather, they were evidence of its effectiveness, the result of your spiritual team, absorbing and neutralizing everything sent your way. While your adversaries schemed and plotted, you advanced and evolved. Where they stagnated in darkness, you blossomed in the light. Every ounce of energy they wasted trying to obstruct you became fuel for your growth, a contrast that illuminated your strengths and clarified your path. Ironically, their opposition became an unwitting catalyst for your acceleration, sharpening your awareness, affirming your significance, and drawing out your full potential. The universe wastes nothing. Even the shadows serve the expansion of light. Those with spiritual insight see the undeniable perfection in this unfolding drama, the confession in the hospital, the swift unraveling of the conspiracy, the inevitable legal consequences, the way physical suffering mirrored spiritual corruption, and the meticulous timing of every revelation. This entire scenario stands as a testament to cosmic choreography. No human mind could have orchestrated such poetic, precise justice. The time is coming when your vindication will be complete, both in the seen and the unseen realms. Those who watched you suffer, not recognizing the depth of your protection, will soon witness the forces that have been moving on your behalf. Doubters will have their questions answered with undeniable confirmation, and those who stood by your side through it all will celebrate as truth and justice are revealed for all to see. Your discernment, your intuition, and your resilience will be proven flawless, validated by the universe itself. During this chapter of your journey, you developed a heightened sensitivity to the subtle energy surrounding you. Energy disparities that others overlooked or dismissed entirely. You could sense hidden motives lurking beneath polished smiles and seemingly innocent conversations, prompting you to withdraw from certain relationships and situations that didn't feel right. No matter how appealing they appeared on the surface, people sometimes accused you of being too guarded or even paranoid for keeping such strong boundaries. But deep down, you always knew that your internal guidance system was far more reliable than any external advice. When others encouraged you to follow the crowd or urged you onto paths that didn't resonate with your spirit, you stayed true to your intuition, recognizing that what they called coincidence or random bad luck was in truth spiritual attack. This heightened awareness, your spiritual radar, became your greatest navigational tool, protecting you from connections and opportunities that might have derailed your destiny. Now, as the hospital confession pours forth, you receive undeniable confirmation of every warning and intuitive nudge you ever felt. Every person whose energy felt toxic, every situation that raised red flags in your spirit, every draining relationship or seemingly golden opportunity that never sat right with your soul, all of it is validated. Your inner compass was never wrong, even if the world around you was slow to catch up. Let this chapter reaffirm your absolute trust in that internal guidance as you move forward. You are now at a major inflection point, with the web of conspiracy unraveling through both confession and consequence. The path ahead becomes clearer than it has ever been. All the energy you once spent on self-protection and navigating threats is now freed up, ready to be channeled into acceleration, creation, and new levels of personal and spiritual growth. The universe is shifting the energies that supported you from a defensive stance to one of expansion. The momentum in your life is about to become unstoppable. An unprecedented advancement is waiting just beyond this clearing. Even those who once moved against you now see you in a completely different light. As the hospital confessor's physical strength fades and the boundaries between worlds thin, their perception of you shifts from misunderstanding and opposition to a clear recognition of your spiritual authority. They see in their final moments the magnitude of what they were truly fighting against, and the devastating mistake it was to set themselves against your path. Their last words, heavy with regret, acknowledge what they spent so long refusing to see: your spiritual significance, your cosmic protection, and the deeper forces always at work on your behalf. Officials and authorities record these confessions, but their understanding remains confined to the practical realities of human justice. They meticulously document the facts, build legal cases, and follow established protocols, rarely realizing that they are in fact instruments of a much higher accountability. Every step they take, the raids, the synchronized arrests, the precise timing of evidence collection, serves not just the laws of man, but the unfolding of cosmic justice. Raids take place at dawn across multiple sites, perfectly coordinated, as if orchestrated by invisible hands. The evidence collected often surpasses even what was confessed in the hospital: financial trails, encrypted communications, false identities, forged documentation, threatening messages, and physical links that remove all possibility of denial. Watching the faces of those implicated as the truth finally breaks upon them is a form of cosmic poetry. Some collapse in shock, their strength gone as the reality pierces their denial. Others lash out in anger, their true natures laid bare for all to see. Some attempt to bargain with the authorities, desperately offering up names and secrets, hoping to trade information for mercy, while the most delusional among them demand legal representation, still clinging to the fantasy that they will somehow walk free. What none of them comprehend is that though justice may appear to wear a human face in these moments, its authority is ultimately cosmic. Understand that the universe has invested greatly in the preservation and development of your path. It is not by accident that you have come through all this with your spirit intact. Honor the extraordinary protection you have received by stepping forward boldly and knowing you are supported not just by circumstances but by universal design. Let the memory of the hospital confession and all the repercussions that followed serve as a permanent reminder that when you are aligned with divine purpose, you are also aligned with cosmic protection, whether you see it or not. Anyone who stands in opposition to such a purpose invites a correction equal to their resistance, while those who support it are lifted by a force beyond all human logic. The universe always balances the scales, even if it takes time for human eyes to see it. There is no escaping spiritual law. The cosmic ledger is always in balance, and the equation always fulfills itself down to the last detail. The hospital confession is not a random event or an inexplicable tragedy. It is the precise mathematical conclusion of a long-running spiritual equation. Every legal raid, every arrest, Every consequence that unfolds now is not mere happenstance, but a demonstration of universal order manifesting in time. The illnesses that developed among your adversaries are not mysterious to those who understand energy. They are simply the body registering the results of choices made out of alignment with truth. Witness this resolution without being emotionally entangled. No need for vengeance, bitterness, or lingering attachment. Let your awareness rest in the higher significance of what's occurred. You have played your part and endured your test. Now your focus must shift. Rather than staying fixated on the endings and the people or problems that have dissolved, turn your energy toward what is seeking to emerge and manifest in your life. The time you once spent navigating conflict can now be spent in joyful creation. The attention that was once locked on opposition can now be devoted to expanding your positive impact, building your dreams, and serving your purpose at the next level.